Very good, pleasant late morning, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Falcons Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. After a couple of wins yesterday, the Klamath Falls Falcons are on the road today, finding themselves at Champion Car Wash Field at Bill Gray Stadium in Roseburg to take on the Pepsi Bottle Caps. Glad to be with you today. My name is Josh Eldridge. Thank you so much for joining us today and every single day of the Falcons season. Like I said, a couple of wins last night for Klamath Falls pushed their record to 2-1 and hoping to continue that streak and hand Roseburg their first loss of the season. But a couple of wins against the Hidden Valley Legion team back on Wednesday, sort of a tale of two different games for the Roseburg squad. A pitcher's duel in Game 1 that went to extra innings they were able to win, and then an offensive explosion in Game 2. See which version of the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps greets the Falcons today in a single 9-inning affair from Roseburg. The Pepsi Bottle Caps will return the favor tomorrow night at Kiger Stadium in Klamath Falls, so a quick two-game series before returning to area play on Sunday for the Falcons, but important games nonetheless. Playing a full 9, looking to get some guys some work on the mound, get some guys some at-bats, and hopefully come back home with a win. We're going to step aside here on the broadcast, and when we come back, we'll introduce you to both teams' starting lineups and get ready for first pitch between the Falcons and the Pepsi Bottle Caps next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Josh Eldridge, glad to be back with you from Champion Car Wash Field at Bill Gray Legion Stadium on the bank of the South Umpqua River here in Roseburg ahead of first pitch between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps as the team from Roseburg takes the field. We'll introduce you to the starting lineups first for the visiting Falcons. Max Price leads off in center field. Connor Shively, the shortstop, bats second. Hitting third is Jacoby Tacchini, the catcher. Batting fourth is Colin Tacchini, the second baseman. P.J. Safford is at third base. He'll bat fifth, followed by Ian Meyer, the designated hitter, batting sixth. Corbin Hamilton is at first base, hitting seventh. Carson Sims, the left fielder, bats eighth. And Ryan Glidden is in right field. He bats ninth for the Falcons. On the mound for the Pepsi Bobcats is Nick Ruiz. And Ruiz getting his first start of the summer. Right-hander will have his lineup behind him go like this. Leading off in center field is Fletcher Coleman for the Caps. Zane Hopkins is at shortstop, hitting second. Brady Popkin is the third baseman. He hits third. Ryan Shaver, the left fielder, bats fourth. Aaron LaPrey is the first baseman. He hits fifth, followed by Payson Burke at second base, hitting sixth. Nick Ruiz, the pitcher, bats seventh, followed by Kellen Garrett, the catcher, hitting eighth. And Caden Hjort is in right field. He bats ninth. Hunter Glidden will be on the mound for the Falcons once we get there. Again, thank you for joining us today. Here from Champion Car Wash Field, up in the box. Again, we got a little bit of a post in the way for those of you watching on mybasin.com. Apologies, not much we can really do about that. Always posts here at Roseburg, but trying to give you the best view of the mound and of the plate that we can. Second base is unfortunately a little bit covered up, but hopefully you can still see the action, and hopefully I do a good enough job of describing it to you that you can enjoy our ball game today. The Falcons in their red road uniforms today, with Falcons written across their chest in blue and white trim, blue numbers across their back, and gray pants. The Caps in blue uniforms today, with Pepsi written across their chest in orange and white trim, blue caps and gray pants for Roseburg. As Max Price gets ready to settle in for our first pitch, taken upstairs for ball one. Like I said, a single 9-inning game today as opposed to the doubleheader that we'll play during area games. But again, a non-league contest today and able to play a full 9. Here, Max Price rolls one out to second. Playing on it a couple of hops is the second baseman, Burke. Tough throw over to first, but LaPrey able to put it away for the out. Gives us an opportunity to meet the defensive lineup for Roseburg going around the diamond. Garrett is catching. Popkin is at third. Hopkins at short with Burke at second and LaPrey at first. Shaver in left, Coleman in center, and Hjort in right for Roseburg. Stepping in now is Connor Shively with one away in the inning. First pitch to Shively is taken outside. The count is 1-0. After Shively in the order is Jacoby Tacchini. The 1-0 on the way to Shively is lifted into the air, left side. Behind third base, could be trouble, and gets down in between the left fielder and the shortstop. Shively, big turnaround first, goes for two, gets in there safely. The throw to the infield was a wild one, but backed up by the first baseman. Shively will stay put at second. And Shively in scoring position now for Tacchini. Jacoby Tacchini, good start so far to the summer. Batting .375 to start the year, on base percentage up about 45%. Pitch is going to miss there. The count 1-0 to Tacchini, starting catcher today for the Falcons. Take you back to the win last night against Medford as Tacchini flies one out to left field, and under it is the left fielder Shaver. He's able to make the catch for the second out. Again, a 10-0 win for the Falcons and a 15-1 win against the North Medford Mavericks. Able to get a couple good ones there. And in steps Colin Tacchini now for the Falcons. Colin got the start in the opener yesterday on the mound. Here he swings at the first pitch and launches one to right field. Over the head of the right fielder, Hjort, and nearly to the wall. Tacchini's going to dig for three. One run already in. Tacchini is going to get into third standing. And a triple and an RBI gives the Falcons a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning as Shively came in to score from second on that play. Great wrap there for Tacchini, and this will bring up P.J. Safford. Safford in the early part of the season Second on the team in on-base percentage. He's got 6 RBIs. He's got 4 RBIs, which is good for second most on the team. And another one out there waiting for him. Safford will take strike one here. Look at recent history for Safford. And like I said, second most RBIs on the team. That was thanks in large part to a great performance in the Falcons' 15-1 win in the opener against the Mavericks yesterday. Here, a chopper out towards second. Burke plays it on a tall hop, able to make the throw to first in time for the out. But the Falcons do score a run on 2 hits in the inning, leaving 1 runner stranded, and they'll carry a lead to the bottom of the first inning. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
And we're getting ready for the bottom of the first inning here from Roseburg as the Falcons taking on the Pepsi Bottle Caps today. And on the mound for the Falcons is going to be Hunter Glidden. And taking a look at Hunter, this is going to be his first pitching appearance of the summer. Excited to see what he has to offer to the Falcons this season. Like I said, and I've said multiple times on the broadcast through the first few games of the year, it's going to be pitch by committee a lot of the times for the Falcons. And in games like these where you play a single 9-inning game where you're not against your league opponents, so the win-loss is maybe coming secondary to both teams today. Just look at it, again, get guys work in. Of course, you want to win, but ultimately getting guys throwing, guys who wouldn't typically throw or didn't throw a ton during the prep season, well, that's the way to go. And Hunter Glidden threw quite a bit of JV ball this year, but not a ton at the varsity level for the Henley Hornets. And a chance to, get a good look here against a quality opponent in the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps. Leading off for them is Fletcher Coleman. Pitch finds the outside corner, and the count is 0-1 to Coleman, the starting center fielder for Roseburg. Coleman was instrumental in the team's win against Hidden Valley back on Wednesday, but here rolls one out to first, and Hamilton, who had trouble with it for a moment, tosses it on to Glidden, who was able to cover the bag and record the out. 3-1 in the book for the first out in the first inning, and this will bring up Zane Hopkins. I was going to complete a thought about Coleman, who, by the way, had 2 hits in that game, was going to bring that up and pat him on the back a little bit. But Zane Hopkins, a fine performance in that contest too. The 11-5 win back on Wednesday. He finished 1 for 2 with a run scored. Here he fouls one off. The count is 0-1. It was the 3-2 win that Roseburg picked up against the Hidden Valley Legion team that was fascinating to me. And Hopkins did pick up a hit in that effort as well. It's the 0-1 will miss outside. The count 1-1. That game actually needed extra innings to complete that one, and a walk-off winner for Roseburg in that game. Bottom of the 8th inning, we're able to push 2 runs across to win that game 3-2. Here's a pitch that's fisted out towards second. Takini coming in, plays it on a short hop and makes the throw to first in time. Nice job there by Takini, not to sell out to try to make the catch, but to slow down, play it off the hop, make the throw to first in time for the out. So 2 away, bottom of the first inning. And this will bring up Brady Popkin. Now, it was actually Popkin who hit the walk-off single in that game against Hidden Valley, bottom of the 8th inning, scoring a couple of his teammates. It was a ground ball to right field, and at the time for Popkin, finished a 3-for-4 ball game, and those 2 RBIs all he needed to push his team to victory. Here he grounds one out to third. Safford plays it. Long throw across the diamond is there. Hamilton with a stretch to retire the side. The Caps down in order in the bottom of the first inning. They trail the Falcons 1-0. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Glad to be back with you here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com here at Champion Car Wash Field in Roseburg, Oregon. This field was the host of the 3A Oregon State Championship game during the springtime, and now host to the Klamath Falls Falcons is Ian Meyer. It's ready to lead things off for the Falcons. Again, they lead 1-0. Meyer takes a pitch outside, and the count is 1-0. Ian Meyer with a good performance in the nightcap against North Medford, and here he's going to wrap up a single into center field. And a leadoff base hit in the second for Ian Meyer. Continue his hot streak, as it were, even if it's been short so far. Finished 2 for 2 yesterday with 3 runs batted in, and starts today off with a single in the second inning. In steps Corbin Hamilton for the Falcons. Hamilton also picked up a couple of base hits in that win last night against North Medford. Here's the pitch. That one finds the zone. The count is 0-1 to Hamilton. Hamilton getting the start on the hill last night against North Medford as well, working 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, no runs. He walked 2 and he struck out 9. Again, in just 4 1/3 innings, absolutely had great command last night. Here he pops one up behind first in foul territory. Giving chase is the first baseman LaPrey, but running out of room near the out-of-play, out-of-bounds marker over there, and the count moves now to 0-2. After Corbin Hamilton in the order, it's Carson Sims. Hamilton wide batting stance and a 2-strike count. Rolls one foul down the third base side. Count will remain, no balls and 2 strikes to Corbin. Not only a good game last night in the nightcap, good start to the year for Corbin this summer, batting .333 through the first 3 games. Still in a 2-strike count. He'll take ball 1 outside, maybe a bit high there as well. Count 1-2. Talked about the Area 4 standings in the Single A classification. The Falcons right now, again, early season, just 2 games into the league schedule, but in third place. Hamilton, a bit of an excuse-me swing, rolls one out to the mound, goes to second for 1, but Hamilton beats out the back end, so Meyer is out. Hamilton reaches on the fielder's choice, and that will bring up Carson Sims with 1 out in the inning. Sims batting .429 to start the year. Now, 2 of his 3 hits at the beginning of the season have been doubles. He's been a guy to start rallies this year for the Falcons. And looking to continue one here. They scored 1 in the first inning. And, of course, with Hamilton aboard at first, a chance at more. Sims settles back in. The right-handed bat wrapping up his sophomore year from Henley High School this past spring. The pitch is in the dirt, gets away from Garrett, and a long backstop here at Champion Car Wash Field will allow Hamilton to advance to second with ease. And now into scoring position. Decent lead off a second. The second baseman, Burke, trying to keep him honest over there, holding him. And here's the pitch home. Sims takes another one in the dirt. Count now 2-0 to Carson with Ryan Glidden waiting on deck. He'd be the number 9 hitter in the Falcons order. Top of the second inning, and Klamath Falls leads Roseburg 1-0. Only just getting started today. As that pitch is swung on and missed. Sims now in a 2-1 count. A little bit cooler today in Roseburg than it will be back home in the Klamath Basin. About 68 degrees and cloudy. A little bit of a wind as well. Here's the pitch to Sims. Line drive, second base. Burke gloves it. Tries to go back to second base for 2, but diving back safely was Corbin Hamilton. So Sims will line out for the second out in the inning, and this will bring up Ryan Glidden. Glidden 1 for 4 on the season, putting his batting average right at 250. Glidden's lone hit came in the opener yesterday against the North Medford Mavericks. Was able to score 2 runs in that game, though, having reached base being hit by a pitch. Also is going to courtesy run quite a bit for the Falcons this year. You'll see him on base quite a bit, and Glidden takes that pitch low. The count is even now, ball and a strike. Could see Glidden, his younger brother, got the start today, but could see Glidden pitch today as well, or tomorrow when Roseburg comes back to Kiger Stadium. Here's the 1-1 to Glidden. That pitch is in the turf and again kicks away from Garrett, advancing Hamilton to third. The count will be 2-1 to Glidden. Top of the order due up next for the Falcons with Max Price on deck. Glidden settles back in. Ryan stands 6'1", keeps his knees bent in the batter's box, and will wear this one. The 2-1 comes in and hits him square in the back. Glidden awarded first. Now runners at the corners for Max Price. Price is 0 for 1 in this ball game, grounded out to second in his first at-bat. Came in and pitched a little bit yesterday in the doubleheader against North Medford. The 15-1 win in which Price came in to pitch. That one misses below the zone, the count 1-0. Price was hitless during the game, but was able to pitch the final inning. Didn't get a save. Gave up a hit, struck out 1. We'll see Max kind of in that role a lot this season. I have a feeling he'll be used as sort of a closer at times. The 1-0 is a ground ball the other way into right field, and a base hit will score Hamilton. Round second. It'll also put 2 runners in scoring position for Connor Shively. Shively 1 for 1 already today. He doubled and later scored in the first inning. Here's the first pitch to Shively. Lifts one in the air, left side, out of play, foul. The count is 0-1. Shively finished 3 for 4 with 4 RBI and 3 runs scored in the 15-1 win against North Medford in the opener yesterday. Just had a really standout performance at the dish in that one, and didn't really falter at all in the nightcap as well. As just that first one was so astounding. But Shively still 2 for 4 with 2 RBI in the nightcap last night. Count a ball and a strike to the lefty right now. Catcher sets up outside. Here's the pitch to Shively. That'll miss outside. The count now 2-1 with Jacoby Tacchini waiting on deck after Connor Shively. Nick Ruiz comes set. The right-hander delivers. The 2-1. Shively lifts it up again, shallow left field. Could be trouble again, and that will get down in fair territory. 1 run scores. Price scores from second, and once again, Shively slides safely into second base. Hit it pretty much in the same location last time, too, except this time it adds 2 more runs, and the Falcons lead 4-0. Again, just hit it right into the sweet spot behind third base where no one can really get to it. And it leads to a couple of runs there for the Falcons. Stepping in now is Jacoby Tacchini. Set is Ruiz. Here's the pitch to Tacchini. That one misses upstairs. The count 1-0. Jacoby had an RBI in the win last night as well. The nightcap against North Medford. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball to third. Popkin up with it, sets his feet, throws across the diamond in time, and that will end the inning. But the Falcons add 3 more runs in the second inning, and they use 3 base hits to get there. 1 runner left stranded. They'll carry a 4-0 lead to the bottom of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside, it's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Middle of the Pepsi bottle caps order due up in the bottom of the second. Klamath Falls leading Roseburg 4-0. It'll be Ryan Shaver, Aaron Lepre, and Payson Burke. Still on the mound, Hunter Glidden for the Falcons. He comes set with the first pitch to Ryan Shaver. Ground ball to third, Safford up with it. He will make the throw to first in time. Routine ground ball for the first out in the second inning. This will bring up Aaron Lepre, the first baseman for Roseburg. Get only 2 games into the season for the Pepsi bottle caps. And Lepre batting .200, 1 for 5 to start the season. Here's the pitch. Curveball from Glidden misses outside. The count is 1-0. Like I said, Roseburg not in our conference in single A Legion ball this season. Here's the 1-0. That one called a strike. 1-1. Potentially between at-bats, we'll take a look at the standings, early portion of the season standings in our conference, as that one's fouled off. The count now 1-2 to Aaron Lepre. And again, Payson Burke is on deck. Lepre from Sutherland High School. Here's the pitch. Hit the other way and will wind up foul. Lepre, the only player from Sutherland on this Pepsi bottle caps lineup. Riley Cortez also played for Sutherland, although he did not make the starting lineup today. That pitch misses high. The count now 2-2. Most of the team comprised of players from Roseburg High School, the 6A Roseburg Indians. Here's the 2-2. Hit the other way. Coming in is the right fielder Glidden. That one will drop in front of him, and a base hit for Aaron Lepre with 1 out in the second inning. First hit of the day for Roseburg here in the second brings up Payson Burke. They'll look to string a few more together, find themselves in a 4-0 hole in the bottom of the second inning. Middle infield ready to turn. Two corners come in for the Falcons. And here's the pitch. It's hit in the air the other way. Foul territory. Glidden giving chase, but will watch that one drift way out of play foul. Count is 0-1. Want to remind you, Falcons fans, the Falcons Hit-a-thon is coming up just around the corner. Got word today that the plan is to do the Hit-a-thon on Monday afternoon. That pitch misses upstairs. Count 1-1 to Payson Burke. Was originally set to take place back on Wednesday before the team's game against the Medford Mustangs. But, of course, got rained out that day. The 1-1 misses in. Count 2-1. Had to end up playing that game in Medford. And then, of course, not able to do the hit-a-thon yesterday, on the road today. Saturday, a single 9 here against Roseburg. Monday just made sense because it's the first day of the Falcons camp, and the team doesn't have a game that day. So the hit-a-thon will be Monday afternoon. Idea is around 12:30, 1 o'clock at Kiger Stadium. It's going to be probably the main fundraiser for the Falcons throughout this summer. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Burke. That one will miss, 3-1. Of course, Falcons trying to fundraise to make a trip to Alaska, fun and memorable. The team leaves for Alaska on June 23rd. Their first game is the 24th. Swing and a miss on the 3-1 pitch. The count now full to Payson Burke. Runner at first is Aaron LaPre, and it's a 4-0 ball game in which the Falcons lead. Glidden set with the full count pitch, and that'll be ball 4. Misses upstairs. Burke aboard to first, which moves LaPre to second, and Nick Ruiz, the pitcher, a chance to knock in the first run of the ball game for Roseburg. Again, that hit-a-thon, just to finish up the thought there, you can sponsor your favorite Falcons player and pay per foot to make your donation, how far they hit the ball. You pay per foot, or you can just make a flat donation to Falcons baseball, and I'm sure they'll appreciate you all the same. As the first pitch in to Nick Ruiz misses outside, 1-0. Hit-a-thon is Monday, 1 o'clock, Kiger Stadium. Here's the 1-0. That one misses upstairs, trying to backdoor the runner at first, but Burke is back safely. Jacoby Tacchini popping out of his stance, trying to keep the runner back there. Ruiz still looking for his first hit of the summer campaign for Roseburg. Again, only 2 games into the season. He will take a pitch, misses high, had to have been high, maybe a little bit inside. The count 3-0 to Ruiz with Kellen Garrett on deck for Roseburg. Glidden, a deep breath on the mound, gets the sign in from Tacchini and comes set. Here's the pitch. That one came in and hit him and will load the bases. LaPre moves to third, Burke to second. Now Ruiz aboard at first. And again, Kellen Garrett will bat now for the Pepsi Bottle Caps. Gives us a quick opportunity to check in on the standings in the conference for Klamath Falls. Again, this is a non-conference game, but still just want to keep tabs on the rest of the teams around the league. Central Point still leading the pack, 4-0. South Medford and ourselves, the Falcons, each 2-0. North Jackson 2-2. North Medford and Grants Pass still each looking for their first wins in league play. Kellen Garrett will take the first pitch of the at-bat downstairs. 1-0 the count. Garrett batting .500 to start the season. Pitch on its way. That one will be called a strike. The count even, a ball and a strike to Kellen Garrett. Garrett, class of 2026 for Roseburg High School. It's the building you're greeted on as you exit the freeway here in Roseburg, at least the way I came into town. 1-1 pitch. Grounded foul down the third base side. Count is 1-2. Again, most of the team made up of guys from Roseburg High School. Roseburg winning their conference this year, the 6A Southwest Conference. Roseburg finished 12-6, a really competitive conference, and the Indians took the crown. This time, though, Garrett goes down on strikes as Glidden got him to chase the curveball. Now there's 2 away in the inning. Bases remain loaded for Caden Hewart. this season. Hjort only one at-bat on the year, still looking for his first hit, although after having walked in their series against Hidden Valley, he did score a run, so seen some time on the base paths. First pitch here is taken for a strike, 0-1. Glidden trying to dance out of this jam. It started with a one-out single from Aaron LaPrey, followed by a walk to Payson Burke, and Nick Ruiz was hit by a pitch. Here's the 0-1. That one misses in. The count, a ball and a strike. Tying run at the plate in the bottom of the second inning. And the Falcons lead Roseburg 4-0. Glidden delivers the pitch. Swung on and missed. The count 1-2. Lineup turns over next for the Pepsi Bottle Caps with Fletcher Coleman on deck. Sure, Hjort would love to get it there. Keeps his hands high in the batting stance. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. And there's Glidden, leaving the bases loaded and keeping a 4-0 Falcons lead going to the third on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Getting ready for the top of the third inning here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. 4-0, the Falcons lead the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps. It's a great day for baseball at Champion Car Wash Field off the bank of the South Umpqua River. The transformation that this place has gone to since my very first time here is, well, fairly notable. Of course, with the advent of the new turf infield and outfield, as this first pitch from Ruiz to Colin Tacchini is rolled foul. The count 0-1. It'll be Tacchini, Safford, and Ian Meyer. That's 4, 5, 6 in the Falcons order due up this half inning. So many great things happening at this field, and again, enough to host a state championship game this past spring. The 0-1, Tacchini sends a ground ball to short. Hopkins moves over in the gap, but bobbles it, coming up with it. We'll see how they score that, but Tacchini is over at first safely, and a leadoff base runner for the Falcons. Scored a hit for Tacchini, and P.J. Safford will bat now. That's the sixth hit of the ball game for the Falcons as well. They've seen the ball well so far at the hand of Ruiz. Decent lead off of first for Colin. And the first pitch on its way to P.J. Safford. First move over to Tacchini. Nearly caught him leaning, but he scrambled back to the bag in time. That was almost dangerous. The Falcons have had a couple of mental mistakes on the base paths the first couple of games. They've had some really smart plays on the base paths too, sort of the duality of this team through the first three games. Don't want to continue to make a mistake down there at first as a pitch missed, I think, a touch inside to PJ. The count is 1-0. Safford 0 for 1 in this contest. He grounded out to first in the first inning. Picked up a save, his first save of the summer last night on the mound, helping close out that 10-0 win against the Mavericks. Safford lifts one into center field, playable for Coleman in a couple of steps, and will put it away for the first out. This will bring up Ian Meyer, who singled in the second inning. Meyer, again, been seeing the ball well to start the summer. Not a guy who got a ton of opportunity with the Henley Hornets during the prep season, but made him count when he did. And I was saying on the broadcast last night, just a guy who knows his job and does it. He's not the flashiest player on the team. Might be the furthest thing from the flashiest player on the team. But he's a ball player. He'll get a base hit when you need him to. He'll go play third base. He'll go play first base. He'll get subbed in and out of the order. He's just a good quality guy to have on your team and deploy him as you need him. Here looking for a base hit. Ian Meyer will take ball one upstairs, 1-0. And here today, starting as the designated hitter, hitting for the pitcher, Hunter Glidden. And really the Falcons could choose to keep him in the game. They could sub him out in for a new pitcher if they feel like it, or they can just bring in guys to pitch behind him and keep him in the lineup all day. Again, he's the kind of guy who just gives you options. Ready for the 1-0. That pitch in the dirt. Good block by Garrett. The catcher for Roseburg keeps it in front of him, but the count 2 balls and no strikes to Ian Meyer with Corbin Hamilton waiting on deck. Like I said, Ian attends Henley High School. Just wrapped up his junior year. He'll be the class of 2026. 2-0, pitch misses outside. On the move is Takini. The throw down won't get him. Nearly winds up in center field, but the shortstop Hopkins backing up the throw, able to save it from doing so. But Takini is in scoring position with 1 out and a 3-0 count at the plate to Ian Meyer. Meyer settles in. Big leg kick in his batting stance. He'll take strike 1. Keeps himself high, and again, just a long leg kick and step towards the pitcher. Idea is to help you provide a little bit more power and keep the timing down as well. Getting that front foot down against high-velocity pitchers could be the challenge for Ian. But here he'll take a curveball out of the zone for ball 4. It kicks away from Garrett, allowing Takini to advance to third as well. So now runners at the corners for Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning, would later come in to score. Chance to drive in a run here for Corb. Here's the pitch. Line drive center field. That will get down in a base hit. And in comes Takini. Rounding second, headed for third is Meyer. The throw is in time. They got him. A nice throw from the outfield to cut down Meyer, trying to advance to third. But again, a run does score on the play. The Falcons lead 5-0. Hamilton aboard at first after the RBI single. 2 away in the inning for Carson Sims. Aggressiveness not paying off there for the Falcons. Like the idea, try to make Roseburg make a play, and, well, that time they did so successfully. First pitch to Sims, fouled off. 0-1 the count. Sims hit a ball about as hard as you could last time around, but it was right to the second baseman for the out. So Sims just looking to find a little bit of green grass out there, or artificial turf, if you will. Here's the pitch, misses up and in. Taken off is Hamilton, and he dives in safely into second. Into scoring position now, and a 1-1 count to Carson Sims. After Sims is Ryan Glidden for the Falcons. Ruiz comes set. Gets the sign from his catcher, Garrett, and delivers the pitch. That one kicks away from the catcher once more and will roll to the backstop, allowing Hamilton to advance to third. Been a tough go of it so far for the catcher for Roseburg, Garrett. That outside pitch has gotten away from him quite a bit today. It's allowed the Falcons to take quite a few free bases, leading to runs. And again, right now, the score 5-0. Here's the 2-1. Sims pops one up. Shallow center field. Coming in is the center fielder Coleman. Makes the catch on the run behind second base to retire the side. But the Falcons score 1 on 2 base hits in the inning. They leave 1 stranded, and they lead 5-0 going to the bottom of the third on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
So lonely, I seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Bottom of the third inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps 5-0. Due up this half for Roseburg is the top of their order. Fletcher Coleman, Zane Hopkins, and Brady Popkin. Hunter Glidden, in the third inning of his start, delivers the first pitch. Fly ball center field. Getting underneath it is Price. He'll make the catch, moving to his right for the first out. One pitch and one away in the third inning. This will bring up Zane Hopkins, who grounded out in his first at-bat. Grounded out to second. Want to remind you fans who are listening on the radio today on 104.3 and 960 Sports, not too long after the conclusion of today's game, you'll be greeted by the voice of the Oregon State Beavers, Mike Parker, as the Beavers begin play at the College Baseball World Series in Omaha. Zane Hopkins hit by the first pitch in his at-bat. He'll take first, bringing up Brady Popkin. Popkin 0 for 1 today. He grounded out in the first inning. Oregon State scheduled for a 4 o'clock start today in the West Coast. That pitch will find the zone. The count is 0-1. Beavers playing Louisville in the opening round. It's only the second ever meeting between those two programs. Should be a good matchup. The 0-1 is hit in the air to first base in foul territory. Hamilton, over a couple of steps, makes the quick catch for the second out. Beavers will either play early in the morning on Sunday again or later on in the afternoon, depending on if they're able to pick up a win or wound up getting handed a loss. They'll play either Coastal Carolina or Arizona. Bouncing ball over to third. Safford plays it on the hop, sets his feet. Strong throw to first is there for the out. A base runner for the Bottle Caps in the third, but they don't do anything with it. And as we go to the fourth inning, it's the Falcons who lead 5-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, the retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Continuing this game into the top of the fourth inning, it's the Klamath Falls Falcons who lead the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps 5-0. 5 runs on 7 hits, no errors, and 3 runners left for Klamath Falls so far. No runs on 1 hit, no errors for Roseburg. They've left 4 runners on base to this point in the contest. As we bring you back to the ball field, it's Ryan Glidden, Max Price, and Connor Shively due up this half for the Falcons. That's 9-1-2 as Glidden swings and misses at strike one. Glidden was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat in the second inning and would eventually come in to score. Here's the pitch from Ruiz, and Goes off speed to Glidden and produces another swing and a miss. The count 0-2 now to Ryan. Falcons scored 1 run in the first, 3 more in the second, and added another in the third. That's how they built out their 5-run lead. Glidden got hit again in a 2-strike count, tried to get out of the way of it, but I think it hit the front foot, maybe his knee. Regardless, a free pass for Glidden there. Second time today he's been hit, awarded first, and back to the top of the order. It's Max Price. Price, line drive, deep left center field. That's going to get down. Will certainly be extra bases. Price going to wind up at second. Glidden hesitated with the ball off the bat, so he'll only wind up at third. But 2 men in scoring position now for Connor Shively. Second double of the day for Max Price. Last time in the second inning, knocked in a run and he would come around to score when Connor Shively followed it up with a double of his own. Here Shively bats and takes strike 1. Shively 2 for 2 today with 2 doubles and 2 RBI and a run scored. Not a bad start to a game for Connor. Here's the pitch. Shively rolls one to first, through into the outfield. 1 run scores. They're waving around Price. He will score as well, and another 2 RBI hit for Shively makes it 7-0 Falcons. Able to do it all today is Connor. 3 for 3 and 4 runs batted in. Here's Jacoby Tacchini. Move over to first. Shively is back safely. He's a guy you got to keep tabs on over there. Said it last night, but was perfect in stolen base attempts. The season for Henley was 26 for 26. Here Tacchini takes ball 1 inside. Jacoby Tacchini, much deserved. First team All-State catcher in the 4A classification. Was worried myself that he might not get recognized at first team just by virtue of him being a freshman, but his stats spoke for themselves. Hit .417 during the prep season, led the conference with 36 runs batted in, deserved every bit of every accolade that he got this year. Here he pops one up behind third, shallow left. Coming in is the left fielder Shaver. He will make the catch by the foul line for the first out in the 4th inning. So bring up Colin Tacchini. Colin, another Tacchini, who earned All-State honors as well. Tacchini was a second-team All-State pitcher. He went 8-2, 2.01 ERA in the 3A class for the Lakeview Honkers. Today at the plate is already 2 for 2 as he takes a pitch upstairs. Now the count is 1-0. Tacchini tripled in a run in the first, and singled, and would later score, starting a rally in the 3rd inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Colin. Hits one foul, and the count is 1-1. After Colin in the Falcons' order, it's P.J. Safford. Colin keeping his hands low, close to the chest, as Ruiz comes set with the 1-1 pitch. Here it is. Curveball misses in. A nice pitch by Ruiz trying to jam up Tacchini, but he's not biting at that one. And the count is 2-1. Top of the 4th inning, and the Falcons lead Roseburg 7-0. Here's the pitch. Finds the zone on the outside. The count 2-2. Nice pitch from Ruiz. Done a good job of staying around the zone. He has hit Glidden twice, but outside of that, only 1 walk. Here's a bouncer out to short. Charging is Hopkins. He'll go to 1, and the play is unable to be made. First baseman LaPre unable to squeeze it. Ball rolls near the Roseburg dugout, and both runners advancing. Another station. Shively all the way to third. Colin Tacchini now at second. That'll bring up P.J. Safford. So give it a hit to Tacchini. Would have been probably beating it out in the infield. But the throwing error allowing both runners to advance into scoring position for P.J. Safford. So Tacchini, 3 for 3 today after that hit. 10th hit of the day for the Falcons. And Safford swings at the first pitch he sees and rattles it foul down the third baseline. The count is 0-1. Safford 0 for 2 in this contest, grounded out in the first, flew out in the third. Safford picking up the walk-off hit to send the fans home happy last night, beating out an infield single to score a run, which initiated the mercy rule for the Falcons last night against the North Medford Mavericks. Here, Safford pops one into foul territory right side by the Roseburg bullpen, and that will fall gracefully into foul territory. The count is now 0-2. Now, there is a pitcher warming up for Roseburg, a right-hander out there. Can't quite make out who it is exactly, but I'm sure we'll know soon enough. Count is 0-2 to Safford. Here's the pitch. Misses upstairs. The count is 1-2. After Safford is Ian Meyer for the Falcons. Here's the 1-2. Ground ball to the left side, off the glove of the shortstop and into left field. And that will allow Shively to score, and the Falcons lead 8-0 after the RBI single for Safford. Advancing to third was Colin Takini, and that'll put runners at the corners for Ian Meyer. But first, looking like we're going to get a visit on the mound for Roseburg. And as they discuss things, see if we're making a change or not, gives us a time to remind you about one of our wonderful sponsors here on MyBasin.com, and that's Gino's Cafe on East Main Street, open every morning at 6:30, serving their famous breakfast burritos. Those are served all day long, along with other menu items like burgers, monthly specials, and Italian favorites. You can order online at iloveginos.com. You can also place your order on DoorDash. 8-0 Falcons. They have added 3 more runs in this half inning. There will be runners at the corners and 1 out for Ian Meyer. Meyer singled in the second inning, and then he walked in the third. Chases a pitch high out of the zone, lifts it shallow right field. Right fielder coming in. He will make the catch. Tagging from third to score is Colin Takini. He dives in safely. No throw to home, but Takini still theoretically getting dirty to dive in and score the run, and the Falcons now lead 9-0. 2 away in the inning. Runner remains at first in P.J. Safford. Sacrifice fly and an RBI for Ian Meyer brings in Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton singled in a run in the third inning. First pitch taken outside and low. The count is 1-0. Aside from the RBI single in the third, Hamilton reached on a fielder's choice in the second and came in to score. Here's the pitch. Hamilton swings through that one. Might have got a piece of it. Regardless, wound up in the catcher's glove. The count is 1-1 to Corbin. On deck is Carson Sims for the Falcons. About a 3-step lead off of first for PJ. Takes another half step, and the pitch home is going to miss low and away. The count is 2 balls and a strike. Season continues for the Klamath Falls Falcons tomorrow when the Roseburg Pepsi bottle caps come back to Klamath Falls for a 5:30 single game at Kiger Stadium, and another home game on Sunday, another pair of home games on Sunday, as the Falcons will host the Central Point Comets. That will be what is billed to be at least a good 2 contests and a great night for baseball at Kiger on a Sunday evening. Encourage you to join us. It's been nice to see people in the grandstands out there as the 2-1 taken for a strike. 2-2 to Corbin Hamilton. Again, 2 outs in the inning, already 3 runs home. Hamilton looking to extend this inning for the Falcons. Keep on building. Here's the pitch. Fights it off, so for now he stays alive. After that doubleheader on Sunday for the Falcons, 1 more home game in the month of June would be on Tuesday next week, the 17th, against the Post-58 Crushers, single game at Kiger Stadium. Pitch to Hamilton, misses inside, and that'll be a walk. Hamilton getting on base, extending the inning, and bringing up Carson Sims. Safford advancing to second after the walk. Carson with a chance with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. He is the 9th batter to hit this inning for the Falcons. Sims 0 for 2 today. He is lined out and flown out in his 2 at-bats. Takes a strike, maybe a little bit low, but Sims having to regather, down in the count 0-1, even if he's displeased with that call. Again, Sims, the 9th batter to hit this inning for the Falcons. On deck is Ryan Glidden. Here's the 0-1 to Sims. Fouls it back. The count now 0-2 to Carson. Safford a modest lead off of second, but Hamilton a fairly aggressive lead off of first. Again, he's not going to steal, of course, but first baseman LaPrey not holding him, so he's able to get a pretty good head start. Here's the 0-2 to Sims. Lifts it in the air, shallow center field. That one could be trouble. A diving effort by the center fielder, but it gets down a base hit. Safford comes in to score from second. Advancing to third is Corbin Hamilton, and an RBI single for Carson Sims puts the Falcons in double digits, now up 10-0. Great at-bat for Carson. I think his best swings come with 2 strikes. I don't know how he does it, but it seems like he's more dangerous when he has 2 strikes against him, and that time coming away with an RBI single and extending the Falcons' lead. Here's Ryan Glidden, who was hit by a pitch and came around to score in his last at-bat earlier this inning. Here he takes a look at strike 1. After Glidden, lineup turns over once again for the Falcons. It's Max Price. Here's the pitch. Glidden fouls it back to count 0-2. Glidden's been hit by a pitch both plate appearances today and has come around to score both times. Here, though, down in the count 0-2. Pitch from Ruiz. Line drive left field, and that's a base hit. In comes Hamilton to score. Ryan Glidden with an RBI single, and the Falcons lead 11-0. Ruiz having a hard time finding that put-away pitch. He's gotten 2 strikes on each of the last 3 hitters, but has been unable to record the out needed to get out of this inning. The Falcons continue to add to their lead. First pitch to Max Price. This might do it. Fly ball, foul territory, playable for LaPrey. He puts that one away, and it will end the inning. But the Falcons add 6 runs on 5 hits, and they leave 2 stranded. And we'll be back in just a moment. Bottom of the 4th next, and the Falcons lead 11-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Bottom of the 4th inning here in Roseburg. Couple of changes for the Falcons. Looks like we'll get the changes for you here entirely in just a moment. But Aaron LaPrey, Payson Burke, and Nick Ruiz do up this half for Roseburg. Here's the pitch. That one is in there for a strike. The count is 0-1. LaPrey singled and was left stranded in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 1 today. That pitch swung on and missed. The count is 0-2. So it looks like P.J. Safford into catch for the Falcons. Comes in after starting the game at 3rd. I believe that's Ian Meyer down at 3rd. We'll find out for sure in just a moment. That pitch misses wide. Count 2-2. And Glidden with the delivery and gets a swing and a miss. First out in the fourth inning. Glidden's been throwing well today. Sets down LaPrey there on strikes. So looks like more changes than I had initially thought for the Falcons. Looks like Carson Sims has come in from left to play second base. Jacoby Takini has moved over to first. In left field is Corbin Hamilton, and Colin Takini over to third now for the Falcons. In steps Payson Burke, who's in a 1-1 count against Hunter Glidden. Nice curveball there from Hunter to loop it in there for a strike. 1-2, the count to Payson Burke, who walked in his first at-bat. Here's a fly ball towards short. Going back is Shively, and he won't be able to make the catch. In and out of his glove behind second base. And that will allow Payson Burke to reach on the error. And Nick Ruiz to bat now for the Pepsi Bottle Caps. Ruiz was hit by a pitch and left stranded in his first plate appearance in the second inning. Here he lifts one shallow center field. Now over is the second baseman. Sims will make the catch for the out. So again, just to reset the full defense for the Falcons for you, did it kind of sporadically a minute ago, but Safford is catching. At third is Colin Takini. Connor Shively plays short. Carson Sims plays second. Jacoby Takini at first. In the outfield from left to right, it's Corbin Hamilton, Max Price, and Ryan Glidden. First pitch into Kellen Garrett is called a strike. The count is 0-1. Runner at first is Payson Burke. He reached on an error earlier in the inning. Here's the pitch. Rolled foul. And the count is 0-2. After Garrett, it's Caden Hjort. Pitch on the way to Garrett as Glidden comes set. Here it is, and a swing and a miss. Great pitch there by Hunter Glidden to get out of the inning, keeping things right where they were. An 11-0 Falcons lead going to the fifth next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Subaru, you're coming home.
Josh Eldridge back with you on 104.3 and 960 Sports. New pitcher on the mound for Roseburg. It's going to be that Stufflebeam out there, the right-hander. Not on the initial roster that I was taking a look at. I'll try to find out young man's first name, doing a little bit of research here. Score is 11-0, and the Falcons lead Roseburg. Due up this half inning for the Falcons is going to be batting now is Colby Medeiros in for Klamath Falls. Medeiros batting in the place of Connor Shively in this half inning. Here's the pitch. That one misses in. Medeiros' tall batting stance awaits the 1-0. And that pitch misses low and in. The count now 2-0 to Colby. Only player from Bonanza High School on the team this year for the Falcons. Don't know when the last time we had a player from Bonanza was, but good to see them coming out. Here's the 2-0. Misses upstairs. Count 3-0. Jacoby Tacchini still on deck for Klamath Falls, and Colin Tacchini looks to be in the hole still. 3-0 pitch. Looked at for a strike. Medeiros taking the inside curveball. The count is now 3-1. Stufflebeam, the right-hander, delivers, and it's lined the other way. Ball is foul, and the count is full, 3-2. Three-two on the way. That pitch misses into Medeiros. Thought it might have hit him. Regardless, ball 4. And a free pass to Medeiros to start the 5th inning. This will bring up Jacoby Tacchini. 0 for 3 today as Tacchini flew out in each the 1st and 4th innings. Mixed in a ground ball in the 2nd, but trying to extend the Falcons' big lead, 11-0 here in the 5th inning. Pitch to Tacchini. Curveball misses upstairs. Count 1-0. And again, Colin Tacchini is on deck for the Falcons. Tacchini started the game as a catcher, has moved over to first base. Here he pops one up to first base. LaPrey makes the catch, and there's the out. So now Colin Tacchini, who is 3 for 3 today. Tacchini tripled in a run in the 1st, singled in each the 3rd and 4th innings, and scored in each of those innings as well. Here he gets hit by the first pitch he sees, and that will bring up P.J. Safford. Medeiros advances to second after that hit by pitch. And Safford, who started the game at third and is now catching, will get a chance to hit now. 1 for 3 today, but an RBI single and later scoring a run in the 4th. Safford's contribution so far today, it was 6 runs in the 4th inning for the Falcons. 6 hits and a lot of damage done in that frame. Here's Safford. Wide stance with 2 on and 1 out. Fists one the other way. Trouble into right field. It gets down. Falcons playing a bit of station to station here. They'll keep the bases loaded with Medeiros pulling up at third. Tacchini moving on over to second. And P.J. Safford with a single in the opposite field to load the bases for Ian Meyer. Meyer is 1 for 1 today. An RBI on a sacrifice fly in the 4th. He also walked in the 3rd. His lone single came in the 2nd. Here he takes ball 1. Meyer staying in the designated hitter role, at least for the moment. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Meyer. Hits one to the right side in the outfield. Hjort moving over towards the foul line. He'll make the catch. Tagging from third to score is Medeiros. He'll do so standing, and the Falcons lead 12-0. And another sacrifice fly with the RBI for Ian Meyer. Also advancing to third on that play was Colin Takini. Staying at first was P.J. Safford. And so that will put runners at the corners with 2 outs for Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton has reached base 3 times today. On a fielder's choice in the second, he came around to score then. He singled in a run in the third and walked in the fourth. Here he takes strike 1. Actually, pardon me, that's not Corbin in at the plate. That is Chase Barrett into the game hitting for Hamilton here. So first chance that we'll see Barrett in this contest. Barrett 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. That one misses low, gets away from Garrett the catcher, breaking for the plate and scoring are the Falcons, and scoring that time was Colin Takini. 13-0 Klamath Falls leads. The count is 1-1 to Chase Barrett. Pitch to Barrett. Hit the opposite way, foul. Count is 1-2. Runner advancing to second was P.J. Safford on the wild pitch, so he's in scoring position. Pitch on the way, and that one hits Barrett. Awarded first, and this will bring up Carson Pimley. Carson hitting in place of Carson Sims. Not sure if Pimley will stick around in the game to play a little bit of left field where Sims was stationed to start the game. We'll see for sure the next half inning, but at least an at-bat for Pimley here. Barrett aboard at first after being hit. 2 outs still and 2 on, and the first pitch to Pimley. Checks his swing, but called a strike anyway. The count is 0-1. After Pimley is Ryan Glidden in the Falcons order. Here's the pitch. Misses upstairs, and the count is 1-1. Small lead off of second for Safford. Reached after the single earlier this inning. Falcons have added 2 runs in this frame, and on another pass ball, or wild pitch rather, see 2 guys advance. Safford to third and Barrett to second. Count 2-1 to Pimley. Delivery is going to also get past the catcher once more, and this will lead to a run for the Falcons. Diving in safely was P.J. Safford, and the score now 14-0. Falcons lead. Also advancing to third is Chase Barrett. Count 3-1 to Carson Pimley. Early outlook on the season for Pimley. Still looking for his first hit of the summer in 3 at-bats. Here he comes. Pitch misses upstairs. Pimley will earn a walk for the first time this year. And Ryan Glidden to bat now with runners at the corners. Glidden has been hit by a pitch twice today, and he singled in a run in the 4th inning. Here's the first pitch. Glidden will take that one high. The count is 1-0. Falcons have had a good approach at the plate today. Been getting deep into at-bats. Not a lot of first pitch swinging. Here's the 1-0. Glidden swings and misses at that pitch. The count is 1-1. Despite getting into these deep counts and getting into quite a few 2-strike counts as well, looking at the scorebook, it's the 1-1 pitch on the way to Glidden is called strike 2. Again, here's another 2-strike count, but Falcons have yet to go down on strikes today. Glidden hoping to put up a battle in a 2-strike count here. The 1-2 on the way. It's going to miss outside. 2-2. Again, don't want to bring in a broadcaster's jinx or anything like that. But again, good plate appearances for the Falcons all day long have led to a 14-run output. Glidden fouls off a 2-strike pitch. Count remains 2-2 with 2 on and 2 out. In the top of the 5th inning, Falcons lead 14-0. At third base is Chase Barrett. At first base is Carson Pimley. And already 3 runs home this inning for the Falcons. The 2-2. Glidden once again fights it off, stays alive. Count remains. Be the 28th pitch of the inning coming up for Stuffelbeam. That's what I'm talking about. Falcons deep into these at-bats. The 2-2 is taken for strike 3. Curveball on the outside. Looked a bit outside, but down looking is Glidden, and that will end the 5th inning. But again, the Falcons score 3, and they only need 1 base hit to do it. They'll take a 14-0 lead to the bottom of the 5th next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside. It's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
It is the bottom of the 5th inning, a game in which the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Roseburg Pepsi bottle caps 14-0. We'll have a couple of changes in for the Falcons in just a moment, but Hunter Glidden is still on the mound. He is throwing very well through the first 4 innings of his start. I say let it ride for Hunter. He's been efficient, too. 51 pitches to this point in the ballgame. Pitch on the way, and a line drive left field. Gets down in front of Barrett. Big turnaround first, but Hjort's going to stay there, and Pepsi Bottle Caps got their 2nd hit of the day here in the 5th inning. Leadoff single brings up Fletcher Coleman. So it looks like some other changes for the Falcons. We'll go ahead and reset the full defense for you in just a moment. As this is a ground ball hit to first. Takini goes to first for 1. Throw to second. Tag applied. And the old 3-6 double play will stifle momentum that the Pepsi Bottle Caps had coming into this inning. 2 away and the base is empty. Quickly rattle off the defensive order for the Falcons for you. P.J. Safford catching. Colin Takini at third. Max Price at short. Colby Medeiros plays second with Jacoby Takini at first. Chase Barrett in left. Carson Pimley in center. Ryan Glidden in right. Here's the first pitch to Zane Hopkins, called a strike. The count 0-1. Hopkins was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat, grounded out in the first inning. Checks his swing, and yes, he did go around on the pitch in the turf. The count is 0-2 to Zane Hopkins. Set is Glidden, and the 0-2 is a chopper to the left side of the infield. Takini up with it. Strong throw from across the diamond is there. And down go the Pepsi Bottle Caps in the 5th inning. They trail the Falcons 14-0, headed to the 6th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Getting ready for the top of the sixth inning from Champion Car Wash Field in Roseburg, Oregon at Bill Gray Stadium. Glad to be with you today. My name is Josh Eldridge as the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps 14-0. For the Falcons, 14 runs on 14 hits. They've committed one error, and they have left 7 runners on base so far. For Roseburg, no runs on 2 hits. They have committed 1 error, and they have left 5 runners on base to this point. New pitcher in the game for Roseburg is going to be number 8, Lane Wagner. Class of 2028 for Roseburg, and a right-hander will have to go up against top of the Falcons order, leading off with Max Price. Get the score bug back up there for you. Thank you again for joining us today. A single 9-inning affair between the Falcons and the Pepsi Bottle Caps, and really a 2-game series between the teams as we get to face these guys back in Klamath Falls at Kiger Stadium tomorrow night at 5:30. All right, Max Price due to lead things off for the Falcons in the top of the 6th inning. That pitch misses outside. The count is 1-0 to Max. He is 2 for 4 today with a couple of doubles and 2 runs scored. Also added an RBI in the 2nd inning. Pitch from Wagner. Ground ball to short. Hopkins has a bit of trouble with it. Throws on to first, is in time. Close play at first, but Price is out on the 6-3 putout, and that is the first out in the 6th inning. And this will bring up Colby Medeiros for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Medeiros walked and scored in his only plate appearance of the game so far. Wagner is set, and the pitch. That one will miss wide, and the count is 1-0. After Medeiros, it's Jacoby Tacchini for the Falcons. This pitch misses up and in. Count is 2-0 to Colby. Spent the season with the Bonanza Antlers during the prep season. Bonanza unable to make the playoffs in their 2A, 1A classification. Here's the 2-0. But Colby having a good season, led the team in ERA on the mound. They got off to a good start, but sort of struggled in the middle part of the year, did the Antlers. And Medeiros works a 4-pitch walk. Second time he's gotten the free pass today, and this will bring up Jacoby Tacchini. Tacchini so far today is hitless, has flown out 3 times and has grounded out once. Set is Wagner and the pitch. Curveball in there for a strike. The count 0-1 to Tacchini. On deck is Colin Tacchini for the Falcons. The 0-1. Tacchini takes a pitch off the inner third of the plate for strike 2. Going off speed and then fastball for Wagner in this at-bat. Tacchini hasn't offered up at either one, but now he'll have to protect the plate in a 2-strike count. That time the pitch doesn't make it to the plate, kicks away from the catcher, and advancing to second is Medeiros on the wild pitch. Again, 1 out in the inning was the leadoff ground out from Max Price. Takini trying to knock in another run here in the top of the 6th. Falcons already up 14. Takini will take a pitch low, and again getting away from the catcher, allowing Medeiros to advance to third. And another opportunity for the Falcons where after a couple of wild pitches, you turn a walk into effectively a triple. The same at-bat, Medeiros has moved to second, then to third. It's not the first time it's happened today. Count is now 2-2 to the first-team All-State catcher for the Falcons. Here's the 2-2. Takini rolls one foul down the third base side, fielded cleanly in the third base coaching box by Mr. Sean Teeters. I'm sure he's about glad to be done with school. Coach Teeters, of course, a teacher at Henley, along with being their head baseball coach. Won Coach of the Year in the Skyline Conference this year. Here's the 2-2. Takini bouncing ball towards short. Hopkins going to field it, make the throw to first. It's there, and a nice play by the first baseman Lepre to record the out. But in the meantime, Medeiros comes in and scores from third, and so give Takini the RBI and the Falcons a 15-0 lead, now with 2 away in the 6th inning. Colin Takini bats with the bases empty and 2 outs. He is 3 for 3 today. Takini fouls that one back. The count is 0-1. Tripled in the first, back-to-back singles in the third and fourth innings, and he was hit by a pitch in the fifth, so he's reached base every time today. The 0-1 from Wagner on its way to Takini. Here's a curveball that's lifted foul. The count is 0-2. P.J. Safford, he waits on deck if Takini is able to find a way to get on base, down in the count 0-2. Here's the pitch. Curveball looped in there for a strike. A nice pitch by Wagner to get out of the inning, but one run does come in to score for the Falcons. No base hits needed to do so. They'll take a 15-run lead to the bottom of the 6th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Getting ready for the bottom of the 6th inning here in Roseburg. The Falcons lead at 15-0 against the Pepsi Bottle Caps. A new pitcher on the mound for the Falcons is one Ryan Douglas. Looks like a clean swap for Douglas and Hunter Glidden, who will exit the game after working 5 innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 walk, and striking out 4. A real quality start for Hunter Glidden, setting things up nicely for the Falcons bullpen to try to take them the rest of the way. And Ryan Douglas will be the one to get the first crack at things. He'll face 3, 4, and 5 in the Roseburg order. That's Brady Popkin, Ryan Shaver, and Aaron Lepre. First pitch popped up to the right side. Could be playable behind first. Takini making a good effort by the Roseburg dugout. Did he make the catch? No, it looks like he dropped it in the dugout. Still a good effort there by Takini. So Popkin, another chance at things. He's 0 for 2 today, and now in an 0-1 count. He grounded out in the first and flew out in the third. Pitch from Douglas is in there for a strike. The count is 0-2. Not the first time that we've seen Douglas this summer, although, as you'll come to find out, the first outing was one that he and many other Falcons would hope to forget sooner than later. Ground ball to second, easy play made for Medeiros, and there's the out in the 6th inning. Ryan Douglas recorded 2 outs in the team's loss against the Medford Mustangs to start the season. Faced 4 batters, gave up 3 hits, got a strikeout. But again, that game itself was just a tough one for the Falcons, a 22-1 loss to the Mustangs. And Douglas hoping for better fortunes today. Off to a good start, recording the out on the first batter he faces, but now falling behind in the count to Ryan Shaver. Now behind 2-0 in the count to Shaver. Shaver from Umpqua Valley Christian School was a second-team all-conference recipient in that league. Umpqua Valley Christian state champions in the 2A, 1A classification, the number 1 ranked team all spring long, and win a 2-1 decision in the state championship game against Kennedy at PK Park in Eugene. Right now the count is 3-0 to Shaver, and a strike called on the 3-0 pitch. 3-1 now to Shaver. Only player from Umpqua Valley Christian on the Bottle Caps roster, but looking to carry that legacy of the state championship into this team. Here he'll take strike 2. A nice find on the inside corner from Douglas. The right-hander works the count full. After Shaver in the order is Aaron LaPrey. 3-2. Pitch from Douglas is a ground ball left side. Trying to backhand it short is Price, but it gets by him into left field. And a 1-out single for Shaver will bring up LaPrey. Payson Burke would be on deck after LaPrey, who's 1 for 2 today. LaPrey singled in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th. Bottom of the 6th inning, and the Falcons lead the Pepsi Bottle Caps 15-0. Pitch on the way to LaPrey, taken inside for a ball. The count is 1-0. Douglas out of the stretch now. Delivers the 1-0, lifted to right field. Ryan Glidden will make the catch on the run. A nice play heading into foul territory for Ryan Glidden. That is the 2nd out in the 6th inning. Good play there by Ryan on the move. Payson Burke batting now for the Bottle Caps. He is 0 for 1 today. He did walk in the 2nd inning and reached on an error in the 4th. But still looking for his first hit of the ball game. Pitch from Douglas nearly came in and hit him, but will just miss inside. The count is 1-0. After Burke in the order, it's going to be Lane Wagner. 1-0 pitch on the way from Douglas. Fly ball, shallow center field. Coming in is Pimley. He will make the catch. And that will retire the side. 1 base hit for Roseburg in this inning. Doesn't lead to any runs. And the Falcons lead 15-0. Headed to the 7th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Getting back ready for the top of the 7th inning. The Falcons leading the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps 15-0. Looks like leading off this inning for the Falcons is going to be Hayden Poor. That'll be followed by Ryan Douglas, it looks like. A couple of changes in the batting order for the Falcons. We'll get them all for you as we continue to move right along. The Falcons have been swinging the bat well, have scored in every inning of the ball game so far. First pitch will miss below the zone to Hayden Poor, class of 2028 for Henley High School. He's ahead in the count 1-0. That one called a strike. The count is 1-1. Poor hitting for Safford here, who exits the game, at least in the meantime, after going 2 for 4 with an RBI. That pitch winds up behind Poor. The count 2-1 to him. Check of the early season statistics for Hayden Poor. This is only his second at-bat of the season, so still without a hit, but not a ton of opportunity. See what he can do here to lead off the top of the 7th inning. Takes a pitch outside. The count is 3-1. Hayden got the start against Medford, the Mustangs, in the lopsided loss the Falcons took to start the season. Here's the 3-1 to Hayden. That one finds the zone. The count 3-2. Despite that lopsided loss, Hayden pitched good individually for the Falcons in those 2 innings, giving up 3 hits, 3 earned runs. He struck out 2. A little bit out of control with the walks. He gave up 4 free passes, but a young pitcher against a really good team. I think individually you can't feel too bad about that if you're Hayden. Here he wraps the 3-2 pitch into left field and a leadoff base knock for the Falcons in the 7th. Hayden Poor is on first with nobody out. Batting now is Ryan Douglas. Douglas will bat in place of Ian Meyer. The Falcons lineup. The number 6 spot. Batting in place of Meyer, who exits the game again, at least in the meantime, after going 1 for 1 and having 2 RBIs, a couple of sacrifice flies for Ian Meyer. But again, now at the plate is Douglas. He is ahead in the count, 1-0. First at-bat of the game today for Douglas. On the season, though, Douglas leading the team in hitting in the first part of the season. 3 games in, Douglas is batting .600. Again, a small sample size. Take it with a grain of salt, but get off to a fast start. It feels good no matter who you are. 1-1 right now, the count to Ryan. Here he lifts one into foul territory behind first. The count is 1-2. On deck after Douglas is Chase Barrett. Pitch to Douglas. Ground ball to first. LePray is up with it. He'll take it to the bag for 1. Advancing to second was Hayden Poor. No play made there. So able to get into scoring position, and there will be 1 out for Chase Barrett. Barrett was hit by a pitch in the 5th inning and was left stranded in that inning. Decent lead off of second for Hayden Poor. Here's the pitch home. Swung on and miss. Barrett out in front of the breaking pitch. The count is 0-1. After Chase Barrett in the Falcons' order, it's Carson Pimley. Here's the pitch. That one misses in. The count 1-1 to Chase Barrett. Set is Wagner and delivers. The 1-1 misses high. 2-1. Like I said, Falcons have scored every inning of the game so far. 1 in the first, 3 more in the second, 1 in the third. They scored 6 in the fourth, their highest output of the game, at least so far. Here's a ground ball back up the middle. Chase Barrett with a one-out single. They're going to keep Poor at third. So runners at the corners for Carson Pimley. Aside from that 6-run fourth inning, Falcons also scored 3 in the fifth and added another in the sixth, knocking on the door of scoring here in the seventh as well. It's that single from Barrett, his first hit of the day. Like I said, moved Poor to third, and here's Carson Pimley, who walked in his first at-bat last inning. Pitch to Pimley is in the turf. Count is 1-0 to Pimley. Pimley still looking for his first hit of the summer. The pitch is going to miss low, 2-0, but he's gotten on base a little bit. Like I said, with the walk earlier today, he also walked earlier in the season, so he's been on base a couple times, has Pimley, on base percentage of .333. Pitch misses high, the count 3-0, and can afford to be patient here ahead in the count like he is. Pimley from Henley High School will graduate in 2026. Here he takes a curveball for a strike. I've noticed that Wagner likes to go to that curveball confident enough to throw it in a 3-0 count and throw it for a strike. He's thrown it for a strike quite a bit. 3-1. That time goes with, I believe, a changeup wound up in the turf and will be a walk to Pimley. So the bases are loaded for Ryan Glidden. Advancing to second was Chase Barrett. Poor remains at third. And Ryan Glidden, who is 1 for 2 today, gets a chance to bat now. Glidden with an RBI in the fourth inning on his single. Here he takes a strike. Count is 0-1. Otherwise, Glidden has been hit by the pitch twice today, scored each time. He also struck out in the fifth inning. Top of the order due up next for the Falcons. Looks to be Max Price. Glidden fouls one off down the first base side. Count now 0-2. 1 out, top of the seventh inning. Falcons with the bases loaded and a 15-run advantage. Here's the pitch on the way to Wagner. Glidden will look at ball one off the inside part of the plate, maybe a little bit high as well. Count 1-2. Tough pitch to take for Glidden, but a good eye laying off that pitch out of the zone. Wagner delivers the 1-2. Glidden swings and misses at that pitch out of the zone and will go down on strikes for the second time today. Back to the top of the order for the Falcons, it's Max Price. Price having a good day so far, 2 for 5. Pitch is called a strike there. Count 0-1. Doubles in the second and fourth innings and runs scored for Max Price. Otherwise, he's grounded out twice and flown out once. Here, a weakly hit fly ball, shallow center field. Back is the second baseman, Burke. He'll put that one away to retire the side. Couple of base hits for the Falcons in the seventh, and they leave the bases loaded, but no runs come across. But they'll carry a 15-run lead to the bottom of the seventh. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Falcons looking to close out a mercy rule victory against the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps in the bottom of the 7th inning. Due up for Roseburg this half is going to be Wagner, followed by Kellen Garrett and Caden Hjort. Lane Wagner stepping in. First pitch taken for a ball. Count is 1-0. Mercy rule is 10 after 7 in a 9-inning game, which this was scheduled to be today. So the Falcons looking to hold on and get home maybe a little bit earlier than expected. The 1-0 in the zone, 1-1. Here, Lane Wagner hits in place of Nick Ruiz, who had started as the pitcher today. Wagner coming in as the third pitcher in relief for the Pepsi Bottle Caps. He swings and misses at the 1-1 pitch. Count now a ball and 2 strikes. Delivery on the way from Douglas. Misses high. Count 2-2. Bottle Caps will look to score at least a handful of runs here in the 7th. Anything will help it not feel like such a disastrous loss, especially coming in to play the same team tomorrow. Strike 3, swing and a miss there from Wagner, and that is the first out in the 7th inning. Like I said, these teams play tomorrow at Kiger Stadium. It's kind of a mental barrier for Roseburg to probably try to get over if they wind up losing it in a shutout and then having to go on the road tomorrow to play the same team. They'd love to just get a little something going this half inning. It's up to Douglas to stop them. Here's the pitch. Misses high and in to Kellen Garrett. The count is 1-0. Encourage you to come on out tomorrow night. 5:30 first pitch between the two teams at Kiger Stadium. Concession stands will be open, serving only the best. Had quite a few people out last night for the doubleheader. The league opener was great to see so many people out at Kiger. Love to see the fans fill those grandstands right behind home. And now the tunnels reopened, got the full stadium feel. It's a good time to be a baseball fan in the Klamath Basin. Now the count is 3-0 to Kellen Garrett, as he looks to be a base runner, leadoff base runner in the 7th inning. Here's the pitch. That one is in the zone, and the count is 3-1. Not the first time that a batter has thought they saw ball 4, only to toss the bat and get called back to the box. But that was a good pitch on the inside corner from Douglas. He'll try to find it again, maybe on a 3-1. That time it's over the heart of the plate, but misses upstairs, potentially. Not quite sure where, but Garrett aboard on a walk. Caden Hjort batting now for Roseburg. Pitch misses outside. The count is 1-0. Lineup turns over next for the Pepsi Bottle Caps. But I believe we'll have a new hitter in that spot. Pitch misses low. The count 2-0. This is Riley Cortez to bat for Roseburg, not Hjort, pardon me there. Hjort exits the game after going 1 for 2. Here's the 2-0 to Cortez. Misses outside, 3-0. Douglas having a little bit of trouble finding the zone here in the 7th. You can afford to just throw strikes, let the defense play behind you a little bit, but still trying to find that left side of the plate away from the left-handed hitter. This time he finds it. Count is 3-1. Cortez can't believe it. Looked about knee-high, maybe a little bit below and around the outside portion of the plate. Douglas might have gotten away with one there. Here's the 3-1. That one misses high off the glove of Safford and behind the plate, but with ball 4, runner was advancing anyway. And PJ going out to talk with his pitcher for a moment. Gives us a quick second to remind you that today's broadcast of Falcons baseball is brought to you by Abby's Legendary Pizza. If you're looking for a great place to eat, head to one of Abby's Legendary Pizza locations for some of the best pizza in the basin at 1919 Austin Street or 2226 Shalleck Street near OIT. Abby's Legendary Pizza is a proud supporter of youth sports in the basin. All right, 2 men on and 1 man out. And batting now for the Pepsi Bottle Caps is Chase Allen. And he'll take strike 1. Allen, class of 2029 at Roseburg. Means he just finished his 8th grade season. Impressive that he's playing up here at American Legion ball. Jacoby Tacchini for the Falcons knows a thing or two about that. This is him a season ago as that pitch misses in. The count is 1-2 to Chase Allen. Love to see a young player get called up to play at this level, though. So, welcome to American Legion Baseball, Chase Allen. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Douglas gets the strikeout. Now 2 away in the 7th, and the Bottle Caps down to their final out of the ball game. This will be Caden Gwaltney, the class of 2029, Roseburg. Gwaltney stepping in with 2 on and 2 out. Pitch from Douglas, lifted into foul territory, out of play, the count 0-1. Gwaltney just finished his freshman season. Still a young player. Again, good to have him up. Pitch on the way. That pitch misses high. 1-1. Oh, pardon me. Gwaltney also class of 2029, so he's yet to start his freshman year. Apologies there. Also, welcome to him. Another young player for the Bottle Caps. I'm sure would love to play for the Doc Stewarts one day. Got to start somewhere, though, and it's here in a 1-1 count. Gwaltney takes a look at strike 2. Roseburg down to their final strike of the ball game, trying to extend it. At least another batter. Popkin on deck. Here's the pitch. Roller to third. Colin Tacchini charging. Has time to set his feet and throw. And that will be the ball game. The Klamath Falls Falcons come to Roseburg and grab a convincing 15-run win in this ball game. We'll be back to recap it for you coming up in just a moment, so stick around for our brief post-game coverage on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Yeah, true that. 15-0 the final score. The Klamath Falls Falcons defeat the Roseburg Pepsi Bottle Caps in this one. Final line score for you. The Klamath Falls Falcons score 15 runs on 16 hits. They commit 1 error, and they leave 10 runners on base today. For the Roseburg Pepsi bottle caps, no runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and they leave 6 runners on base today. The winning pitcher is Hunter Glidden for the Falcons, pitching 5 innings, giving up 2 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 4. The losing pitcher today is Nick Ruiz for the Pepsi Bottle Caps. 4 innings pitched, gave up 13 hits, 11 runs, all of them earned. He walked 2 and did not record a strikeout. Couple notables for the Falcons. First off, we'll highlight Connor Shively, who had another outstanding performance. Finished 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored, couple of doubles in there for Shively, and a great performance for him. Colin Takini finished 3 for 4, 3 runs scored, and an RBI. Max Price was 2 for 6, had a 2 runs scored and an RBI. Ian Meyer 1 for 1, but 2 sacrifice flies gave him 2 RBIs on the day. Good day overall for the Falcons. A 16-hit attack leading to 15 runs. The 3 hits for Roseburg go to Shaver, LaPrey, and Hewart. Everyone else hitless in the contest for Roseburg. With this win, the Falcons improve on the season to 3-1 overall. Roseburg dropping to 2-1 overall. These 2 teams will meet up again tomorrow evening at Kiger Stadium. 5:30 first pitch for a single 9-inning game. Hope to see you out there at Kiger Stadium and supporting the Falcons. I want to thank everybody who made today's broadcast possible. Both head coaches today, Sean Teeters for the Falcons, Josh Robbins for the Pepsi Bottle Caps. Big thanks to those guys. As well as our official scorer today, Mike Safford, making sure I know what I'm talking about up here in the box. And, of course, thanks to you for joining us for another edition of Falcons Baseball. Like I said, back tomorrow at 5:30 at Kiger Stadium. But until then, my name is Josh Eldridge, saying so long. Have a great rest of your Friday afternoon, and we'll see you soon for more Falcons Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports. So long, everyone.